Daniel Harris looked out the big window of the human embassy on Nexus Station. He watched the many alien ships float by in space. Humans had been part of the Galactic Council for 10 years. For 10 years, no one had listened to them. For 10 years, other aliens had looked down on humans. For 10 years, they had been treated as less important. "Ambassador, the council meeting starts in 20 minutes, said Susan Baker, his top helper in dealing with aliens. Her face showed worry, just like all the other humans working at the station. "This will be our last meeting," Daniel said, still looking at the ships outside. "Are our ships ready?" "Yes, sir. All ships are in place. All humans in council space know it's time to leave. President Rogers has signed the paper making it official." Daniel nodded slowly. This big decision wasn't made quickly or easily. Earth had joined the Galactic Council with big hopes and dreams. They weren't the most advanced space people, but they thought they had been welcomed as equals. They were wrong. When humans made new things, aliens called them simple fixes. When humans worried about the warlike Kralians expanding too much, aliens said they were just being afraid for no reason. When humans asked to share in new tech, they always got excuses and delays. The last straw came 3 weeks ago. The Council voted to let Kralian warships enter the safe zone near human colony worlds. This happened even though humans showed proof that Kralians were testing weapons that broke Council peace rules. "We need to go now," Susan said quietly. They walked together through the curving hallways of Nexus Station. Other aliens moved out of their way. Some looked at them with interest, others didn't seem to care. Daniel thought few would miss the humans when they left. The aliens saw humans as too loud, too unpredictable, and too independent. These weren't good traits in a council that wanted everyone to follow rules and respect the older alien races. Tutier council chamber was huge, shaped like a bowl with seats going up all around. Over 300 different kinds of aliens sat there, arranged by how long they had been council members. Humans, being new, sat near the back. Daniel took his seat and waited for the meeting to start. Chief Counselor Ziv Toral from the Alturian race called the meeting to order. His 4 eyes blinked one after another. The council talked about many things: trade routes, science missions, cultural sharing programs. Daniel waited for his turn. When the time came for new business, he stood up. "The representative from Earth may speak," Ziv Toral said. "Chief Counselor, honored representatives," Daniel began with a calm voice. "For 10 years, humans have tried hard to be good council members. We have shared what we have, helped defend everyone, and opened our worlds to space trade." He stopped and looked around the chamber. Only a few aliens were actually listening. Most were talking to each other or looking at their data screens. "Today, I tell you that starting right now, Earth and all human colonies are officially leaving the Galactic Council." That made them pay attention. Ziv Toral's 4 eyes got wide all at once. The room filled with loud talking. "Quiet." "The chief," Counselor shouted. "Ambassador Harris, surely you're overreacting. If this is about the Kralian vote, this is about 10 years of being ignored," Daniel said firmly. His voice stayed calm but reached every corner of the now quiet room. 10 years of being told our worries don't matter. 10 years of giving and getting nothing back. Right now, all humans are leaving council space. All human ships are going back to our territory. All defense agreements are ended. "You cannot just walk away like this," argued Ambassador Kelmar from the Praxian Empire. "There are rules, waiting periods." "We've read all the rules carefully," Susan cut in. "There is no required waiting time to leave. Our exit is effective right now. We've sent the message to all council systems," Daniel added. "Also, starting right now, no alien species can enter human space without being invited. Our border ships will enforce this rule." The room erupted into chaos. Representatives shouted questions and objections. Daniel simply turned and walked toward the exit, Susan following him. "Ambassador Harris," Ziv Toral called out. "This is not proper. The council demands—" Daniel stopped at the door. "The council can't demand anything from us anymore. We tried doing things your way. Now we'll do things our way." They left the noisy chamber behind them. As they walked quickly back to the human embassy, where staff were already packing things up, Susan spoke softly. "Do you think they'll understand what they're losing?" Daniel shook his head. "Not yet, but they will." In the days that followed, human ships gathered throughout Council space. Family by family, colony by colony, humans packed their things and left. Some alien races tried to block the departure, claiming humans had legal duties to fulfill. Others tried to negotiate. A few even seemed sad to see the humans go. None of it changed humanity's decision. On the main human colony world of New Hope, Governor Kelly Martinez oversaw the evacuation. Thousands of transport ships landed and took off in an endless cycle. Some colonists were angry about leaving homes they had built over years. Some were scared about starting over, but all understood the reasons. "My grandfather helped build this settlement," an old farmer told Governor Martinez as he boarded his transport. "Feels wrong to leave it." "I know," she replied gently. "But sometimes you have to walk away to be valued." Back on Earth, President Rogers addressed the United Nations. The massive hall was packed with representatives from all Earth nations. The mood was tense but unified. "For 10 years we reached out to the stars in friendship," the president said. "For 10 years we were treated as children at the adults' table. Today we stand on our own. Today we show the galaxy that humanity does not beg for respect. We command it through our actions." The applause was thunderous. In orbit above Earth, the largest human fleet ever assembled took formation. Admiral Joe Wilson surveyed the thousands of ships from his command deck. Military vessels, science ships, colony transporters, all ready to defend human space. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said his second-in-command. "Good," Wilson replied. "Set up the boundary markers. From now on, any alien ship crosses that line without permission, they get one warning. Then they get escorted out, or shot out." The human fleets moved to secure their borders. The Galactic Council held emergency sessions. Some races blamed each other for the human departure. Some suggested military action to bring the humans back to reason. Wiser voices noted that while human technology might be less advanced, their weapons were quite effective, and humans had shown throughout their history a remarkable talent for warfare when provoked. In the end, the Council decided to wait. Humans would come back, they reasoned. They needed the Council more than the Council needed them. They would learn how wrong they were. 6 months after humans left the Galactic Council, Ship Captain Olivia Reed stood on the bridge of the Earthship Defender, watching her patrol team guard the borders of human space. The exit had been complete. Not a single human stayed in Council. Space and no alien ships could enter human systems without special permission, which was almost never given. "Captain, our sensors show another Council spy ship at the edge of the Arcturus system," said Lieutenant Sam Cooper. "That's the third one this week." "Do the usual," Olivia replied. "Send the warning message. If they don't leave, turn on the defense system." "Yes, Captain." The Council kept sending ships to test if humans were serious, to try to talk, even to beg them to come back. President Rogers had given clear orders: talk to them as little as possible and keep them out. "Captain," called Radio Officer Jane Miller, "we have an urgent message from Earth Command." "Let me hear it." The screen lit up, showing Admiral Pete Black, head of the Human Defense Force. "Captain Reed, I have news. The Kralians have attacked the Moravian star systems. 3 Council worlds have fallen in the last 2 days." Olivia frowned. "The Moravians were one of the few aliens that supported us in the Council." "Exactly. And now they're paying the price for the Council's blindness. The Kralians are using the access route we warned about to launch their attacks. Council forces are all over the place, no teamwork, no real plan." "What should we do, sir?" The Admiral looked serious. "For now, we stay in our position. The President and military leaders are watching the situation closely. The Moravian ambassador has asked for safety and help. They'll reach your position in about 12 hours. We'll be ready for them, sir." After the call ended, Olivia ordered everyone to be on high alert. The news spread quickly through the ship. "So it's happening just like we said it would," Lieutenant Cooper said quietly as they checked the patrol routes. The Kralians were planning this all along. And the council was too proud to see it, Olivia replied. Too sure they were right to listen to the simple humans. When the Moravian ship arrived, the mood was sad. Ambassador Neela Tor, her silver skin looking dull from tiredness and sadness, brought terrible news about the Kralian attacks. See the me. Council's response had been scattered and weak, each alien race trying to protect themselves first. Back on Earth, the human government watched the growing crisis with worry. In a secure meeting room deep under the Washington government buildings, President John Rogers met with his security team. The Kralians have already taken over 5 council worlds, reported Defense Chief Maria Collins. Our spies think they're moving toward the Centauri trading hub next, which would put them one jump away from our Proxima colony, added Security Advisor Frank Peters with a grim face. President Rogers studied the battle map. What is the council doing about it? They're a mess. The older races are protecting their main worlds. The middle races are trying to form small alliances. The newer members are mostly left to fend for themselves, Defense Chief Collins explained. And they've contacted us 17 times in the past week, added Foreign Minister Greg Davis. Their messages sound more and more desperate. The latest, one came directly from Chief Counselor Ziv Terrell himself. President Rogers stood up and walked around the table. For years, we warned them about the Kralian threat. For years, they dismissed us as war crazy, claiming we saw dangers that weren't real because of our simple military thinking. Sir, Greg Davis said carefully, the Moravians were our friends, and if the Kralians take Centauri Hub, they'll be at our doorstep next. I know. The president's voice was tight, but we can't just rush back to help, not without them agreeing to our terms. Security Advisor Peters leaned forward. Maybe this crisis gives us a chance, Mr. President. The Council needs what we have. And what's that, Frank? What humans have. Always had. The ability to fight when things look bad, to create new solutions under pressure, and to come together against a common enemy. He paused. They need our way of thinking about war, the very thing they've been looking down on for 10 years. President Rogers nodded slowly. Prepare a response to Chief Counselor Ziv Terrell. We're willing to talk about the situation, but on our terms, and this time, they'll listen. In the weeks that followed, reports from beyond human space grew worse. The Kralians moved fast, taking world after world. Their warships were not as advanced as the Council's best ships, but they worked together with a single plan. The Council forces fought well but separately with no shared strategy. On the colony world of New Terra, Governor Bill Stewart watched the sky with worry. This farming world was close to the border. If the Kralians broke through Council space, New Terra might be first in line. The defense stations are all online, Governor, reported Security Chief Emma Green. But if a full Kralian battle group comes, she didn't need to finish. They both knew New Terra's defenses were made to handle pirates and small threats, not a full invasion. Earth won't let us stand alone, Governor Stewart said firmly. If the Kralians come, the fleet will be right behind them. But privately he wondered if the fleet would come in time. In deep space, far from any star, a small human science ship floated silently. The Madison was mapping a strange energy pattern when its sensors detected something alarming. Captain, I'm picking up multiple jump signatures, said Sensor Officer Andy Turner. Big ones. Captain Laura West moved quickly to the sensor station. Show me. The screen displayed dozens of large ships moving through faster than light travel. They weren't using the normal jump points. They're Kralian ships, West said quietly. And they've found a backdoor route to bypass Council defenses. Should we warn the Council? Asked her first officer. Captain West thought for a moment. No. We're going straight to Earth Command with this. The Council ignored our warnings before. This time, they'll have to come to us. On Nexus Station, once, the proud center of galactic politics, panic was spreading. 3 more Council worlds had fallen to the Kralians in just a week. Refugees poured in, telling stories of Kralian brutality. Chief Counselor Ziv Terrell sat alone in his office, all 4 of his eyes staring at the latest battle reports. Nothing was working. The Kralians seemed to know exactly where Council defenses were weakest. They struck hard and fast, then moved on before a proper response could be organized. His aide entered the room. "Chief Counselor, the elder races are calling for another emergency session." "To suggest what?" Ziv Toral asked bitterly. "More separate actions? More individual defenses?" "No, sir. This time they want to discuss asking the humans for help." Ziv Toral looked up. "All of them agree to this?" "Yes, sir. Even the Praxians." That was surprising. The Praxians had been the loudest voice against humans in the council. "What changed their minds?" Ziv Toral asked. "The Kralians just destroyed their oldest colony world. No warnings, no demands. They simply wiped out the entire population." Ziv Toral stood, his tall frame casting a shadow across the room. "Prepare my ship. I will go to Earth personally." "Sir, that's extremely unusual." The protocols haven't saved a single world from the Kralians," Ziv Toral snapped. "It's time to admit we were wrong. It's time to beg the humans to come back." Back on Earth, in the presidential office, a small group had gathered to hear the news from the science ship Madison. "If the Kralians have found this secret route, they could bypass all Council defenses and hit us directly," Admiral Black explained. President Rogers looked at the faces around him. "Then we don't have the luxury of waiting for the Council to come to us. Prepare the fleet. We'll meet this threat head-on." "Sir," said Foreign Minister Davis, "what about the Council?" "Send them a message. Tell them we've detected a Kralian battle group moving through uncharted space. Tell them we're mobilizing to protect our worlds." President Rogers paused. "And tell them if they want our help beyond that, they know our terms." As the meeting ended, a young aide rushed in. "Mr. President, we just received word. Chief Counselor Ziv Toral's personal ship has entered the outer solar system. He's requesting permission to come to Earth." The room fell silent. For the head of the Galactic Council to come in person was unprecedented. "Well," President Rogers said with a small smile, "it seems they're finally ready to listen." Chief Counselor Ziv Toral never thought he would be in this position. Standing at a human security checkpoint, asking to enter Earth space, the once proud leader of the Galactic Council was now a beggar, with only his closest helpers beside him. "Your ID checks out, Chief Counselor," said the stern-faced human security officer, Captain Linda Evans. "You'll be taken to Earth for your meeting with President Rogers. Your ship will stay here under guard." Ziv Toral's 4 eyes blinked in acceptance. "Thank you, Captain." The trip to Earth on a human military ship was tense and quiet. Through the window, Ziv Toral saw the strong human defenses, very different from how Council races set up their protection. Even though humans had less advanced tech in some ways, they had built a better defense system that worked together. When they finally got to the meeting place in Geneva, Ziv Toral was surprised by how much humans had grown in just 6 months, on their own. There were technologies and designs he didn't know, proof that humans had been making fast progress without sharing their new ideas with the Council. President Rogers did not stand up when Ziv Toral entered the meeting room. Surrounded by his advisors and military leaders, the human leader's face showed no emotion. "Chief Counselor," President Rogers said simply, "you asked for this meeting. We're listening." Ziv Toral felt the sting of the changed roles but pushed. "President Rogers, things have gotten very bad. The Kralian Empire has taken over 12 Council worlds. They keep moving forward with no sign of slowing down. Our spies say they plan to control all major trade routes within a year." "As we told you they would," said Greg Davis, the foreign minister, "in 17 different Council meetings." "Yes," Ziv Toral admitted, his voice strained. "You were right about what the Kralians plan to do. I failed to take your warning seriously." "And now?" President Rogers asked. "Now we need humanity's help. Your military plans, your different way of thinking, your fighting spirit." The words clearly hurt Ziv Toral's pride. "The Council's forces are scattered. We have better technology but no unified command and no new tactics." Defense Chief Maria Collins leaned forward. "What exactly are you asking for, Chief Counselor?" A full alliance. Human commanders would lead a unified defense force. Your ships would join with ours. Your strategies would guide our response. President Rogers looked at his advisors before answering. And what do we get in return? Full membership in the Council, with a permanent seat on the High Council itself. Access to all shared technologies and, Ziv Toril hesitated, an official statement admitting we were wrong to dismiss human concerns about the Kralian threat. For a long moment, President Rogers said nothing. Finally, he spoke. 6 months ago, we left because our voice wasn't valued, because our help wasn't appreciated, because despite all the proof, the Council chose to ignore reality because they preferred what they already believed. We understand that now, Ziv Toril said quietly. Do you? President Rogers stood up. Because if we agree to help, things will be different. Humanity won't be the junior partner grateful for a seat at the table. We'll be equals, with equal say in Council matters. The older races may resist, Ziv Toril began. Then they can face the Kralians alone, Defense Chief Collins cut in sharply. Ziv Toril's 4 eyes closed briefly in acceptance. I am allowed to accept your terms, President Rogers. The Council needs humanity more than we knew. President Rogers nodded slowly. We'll start coordinating right away. Our fleet commanders will develop a joint plan with your forces, but our main defensive positions around human space stay non-negotiable until the crisis is over. Understood, said Ziv Toril. As they worked out the details, Admiral Pete Black approached with a data pad. Mr. President, we've finished the initial battle plan. With your permission, I'd like to send the Third Fleet to strengthen the Centauri hub. Go ahead, Admiral. President Rogers turned back to Ziv Toril. Chief Counselor, you're about to find out why the Kralians should have feared humanity's inclusion in galactic politics, not dismissed it. For the first time in months, Ziv Toril felt something like hope. Perhaps, he said softly, that is exactly what the Council has needed all along. Meanwhile, on the far side of Council space, a Kralian battle fleet approached the peaceful world of Allura, home to a gentle race known for their art and music. No defenses detected, War Commander, reported the Kralian officer. They are completely unprepared. War Commander Drac smiled cruelly. Begin the attack. I want the planet secured within 1-day cycle. Should we offer surrender terms first? No. The Council races must learn that resistance is pointless. As the Kralian ships moved into attack position, their sensors suddenly blared warnings. War Commander, new ships detected entering the system. Council forces? Drac asked with contempt. They are too late as usual. No, sir. These are human ships. Drac stood up quickly. Human? That's impossible. The humans withdrew from Council space. Sir, they're hailing us. The screen lit up, showing a human woman in a military uniform. Attention, Kralian forces. This is Captain Karen Ellis of the Earth vessel Challenger. You are engaging in unauthorized hostile actions against a civilian world. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. Drac laughed. 1 human ship against my battle fleet? Is this a joke? Captain Ellis's face remained serious. This is your only warning. Drac cut the transmission. Destroy that human ship first, then continue with the attack plan. Yes, War Commander. The Kralian ships moved to surround the Challenger. Then suddenly, space seemed to ripple around them. War Commander, more ships appearing. They're coming out of stealth mode all around us. Where there had been 1 human ship, now there were 25, all with weapons locked on the Kralian fleet. Captain Ellis's voice came through again. As I said, this is your only warning. For the first time, Drac felt fear. Pull back. Retreat. To safe jump distance. As the Kralian ship scrambled to escape, the people of Allura watched in amazement. The humans, who had left the Council, had somehow known the attack was coming and had arrived just in time. On Earth, the Joint Command Center was a hive of activity. Representatives from 20 Council races worked alongside human officers, coordinating defense efforts across multiple star systems. President Rogers entered the command center with Chief Counselor Ziv Toril. They watched as reports came in from the front lines. "The ambush at Allura was a complete success," reported Admiral Black. "The Kralians lost 6 ships, and we took no damage. More importantly, they now know we can track their movements." "How? Did you know they would attack Allura?" asked Ziv Taral, amazed. "Our intelligence network had no indication." Security Advisor Peters smiled. "The ship Madison didn't just discover their secret jump route. They also cracked the Kralian command codes. We can predict their movements before they make them. This is just the first step," President Rogers explained. "For too long, the Council has been reactive, waiting for Kralians to attack, then responding. We're changing the strategy completely." "How so?" asked Ziv Taral. "Instead of defending, everywhere weekly we're going to strike at key Kralian supply points, cut off their fuel and weapons, and their fancy ships become useless." As they watched, the tactical display showed human and Council ships repositioning across the galaxy. For the first time since the Kralian offensive began, the Council was not losing ground. On the Moravian homeworld, now occupied by Kralian forces, the Kralian governor received disturbing news. Local resistance attacks have increased by 700% in the last week, his security chief reported. "And they're using new tactics, new weapons. Find the leaders and execute them," the governor ordered. "We've tried, sir. But they seem to know our search patterns. Every time we send out patrols, we find nothing but traps." The governor didn't know that human special forces had secretly landed on the planet, bringing weapons and training to the Moravian resistance. All across occupied worlds, the same pattern was emerging. Organized resistance guided by human military expertise. Back on Nexus Station, now partially converted into a military coordination center, Ambassador Daniel Harris met with representatives from the younger Council races. "For years you were pushed to the background just like humans," he told them. "Now is your chance to show your worth. The Kralians expect the elder races to lead the defense. They won't expect your species to spearhead our counterattacks." The representatives nodded eagerly. At last someone was listening to them, valuing their input. As the meeting ended, Daniel was approached by Ambassador Kelmar of the Praxian Empire, once one of humanity's strongest critics. "I was wrong about humans," Kelmar admitted quietly. "We all were. Your ways seemed primitive to us, but now I see they were simply different. And difference can be strength." Daniel nodded. "That's all we ever wanted the Council to understand." Throughout Council space, the news spread. Humans were back and the tide was turning. For the first time since the Kralian attacks began, people had hope. In his personal quarters, Chief Counselor Ziv Taral recorded a message to the full Council. "The humans have returned on their terms, not ours, and we should be grateful they did. For in our arrogance we nearly lost everything. Now we must learn from them, as equals." The Galactic Council begged humans to return, and in doing so, we may have saved ourselves. The war room under the Rocky Mountains was once used during Earth's old wars. Now it was the center for the biggest space battle in galaxy history. Admiral Olivia Reed, now in charge of the joint Human Council forces, stood in front of a big screen showing battles across many star systems. "The Kralians have stopped moving forward at all 14 battle points," she told the leaders. "Their supply lines are stretched thin, just as we said they would be. We can start pushing them back within 2 days." President Rogers nodded. Around the table sat not only his human advisors, but also leaders from 20 important Council races, including Chief Counselor Ziv Taral, who watched with new respect. "The Kralians didn't expect us to work together," added General Eric Martinez, pointing to battle maps. "Their whole plan was based on Council worlds fighting separately. A plan we helped by not being united," admitted Ambassador Kelmar of the EI. Praxian Empire, once one of humanity's biggest critics. The past 3 months had changed how power worked in the galaxy. Human military leaders now led combined battle groups throughout Council space. Human battle thinking, once called primitive and too aggressive, had found the key weaknesses in the Kralian attack, and human technology, developed during their short time alone, had given unexpected advantages. "How is the fight to free the Moravians going?" asked President Rogers. "The joint force under Commander Cooper has taken back the outer colonies," Admiral Reed replied. "The Kralians weren't ready for our sneaky tactics. We should free the Moravian homeworld within 2 weeks." After the meeting finished working on battle plans, Chief Counselor Ziv Toril asked to speak privately with President Rogers. "3 months ago, I came to Earth begging for help," the four-eyed alien said in a serious voice. "I expected to find humans wanting revenge or control. Instead, I found partners willing to teach and lead." President Rogers smiled slightly. "Humanity doesn't want to control others, Chief Counselor. We never did. We only wanted respect for our abilities, our ideas, and our concerns to be taken seriously. A respect you have more than earned," Ziv Toril said. The council vote was unanimous. When this war ends, the way the council works will be changed. Species will no longer be ranked by age or technology, but by what they give to our shared community. A fairer system for all members, President Rogers noted, not just for humans. Yes, many younger species have found their voice during this crisis. Ziv Toril paused. "I must ask, why did humanity come back? After how we dismissed you, our pride? You could have stayed safe behind your borders while we faced what our mistake caused." President Rogers thought carefully about the question. "Because staying alone isn't the human way, despite what your alien scientists might have thought. Throughout our history, even after the worst fights, humans have always come back to talk. We argue, we fight, we walk away when needed, but in the end, we seek connection." He pointed to the war room where humans worked smoothly with aliens of many shapes. "This is who we are. We don't abandon friends, even those who once dismissed us. But we do demand to be heard." "And you will be," Ziv Toril promised. "The Galactic Council begged humans back not just for your fighting skills, but because we finally saw what your viewpoint brings to our community." 2 weeks later, when the Moravian homeworld was freed from Kralian control, it was a joint human council force that led the attack. Commander Sam Cooper stood with Moravian Defense Chief Taylor as the Kralian governor surrendered. "The teamwork between your forces was unexpected," the Kralian admitted bitterly. "Our spies said council races couldn't act together like this." "You should have studied human history better," Cooper replied. "We're very good at building teams when facing a common enemy." As news of the victory spread throughout council space, people celebrated on dozens of worlds. On Earth, people watched with pride as videos showed human ships fighting alongside alien vessels, human soldiers working with diverse species, and human inventions being used with council technology. In the newly set up Joint Command Center on Daisike, Nexus Station, once the exclusive place of elder races, Admiral Olivia Reed received the latest spy reports. The Kralian Empire, facing coordinated resistance on all fronts, had asked for peace talks. "They're hoping we'll break apart during talks," noted Susan Baker, now serving as diplomatic helper to the Joint Command. "That old divisions will come back." "They don't understand what's changed," Olivia replied. "This isn't a temporary team-up for convenience. This is the start of something new." On the observation deck of Nexus Station, Daniel Harris, now raised to Human High Commissioner, watched the busy activity below. Ships from all council species moved in organized patterns, a visual sign of the new order taking shape. "President," Rogers joined him at the window. "Having second thoughts about our return, Ambassador?" Daniel shook his head. "No, Mr. President. Walking away was necessary. It showed the council what they would lose. But returning on our terms, that was the real win." As they watched, a group of young alien representatives passed by. These were from the newest council races, once ignored, but now finding their voice in the new system. "The old rules are gone," Daniel said quietly. "The council wanted us to fit into their mold. Now they're adapting to ours. A better way for everyone," the president replied. "Even the elder races, though they don't all see it yet." The weeks that followed brought more victories. Kralian ships retreated from council space. Occupied worlds were freed one by one. The coordinated strategy developed by human military leaders proved devastatingly effective against the Kralian forces. On the Kralian throne world, Supreme Leader Krell raged at his war commanders. "How could you fail so completely?" he shouted. "You said the council races would never unite." War Commander Drac bowed low. "Supreme Leader, we did not count on the humans. They changed everything." "One primitive species changed everything?" Krell asked in disbelief. "Yes, Supreme Leader. They fight differently, they think differently, and now they've taught the council races to do the same." In the peace talks that followed, the Kralians found themselves facing not divided council representatives, but a united front led jointly by humans and council races. The terms were firm. Kralians would withdraw to their original borders, pay to rebuild destroyed worlds, and submit to regular inspections. "These terms are harsh," the Kralian negotiator protested. "They're fair," replied Susan Baker, representing Earth. "And they're non-negotiable." When the peace treaty was signed, a new era began for the galaxy. The Galactic Council itself was reformed. No longer would elder races automatically hold the highest positions. No longer would newer members be treated as less important. Each world would be valued for what it contributed, not for its age or technology level. In the grand chamber where it all began, where Daniel Harris had once walked out in protest, the first meeting of the new council took place. Now humans sat not at the back, but at the high table with other leaders. Species that had been dismissed found themselves with new respect and positions. "This is the beginning of a true galactic community," Chief Counselor Ziv Toril announced, "one where all voices are heard, where diversity of thought is valued, where we learn from each other rather than demand conformity." As the meeting progressed, Daniel Harris found himself reflecting on the journey. The Galactic Council had begged humans back in their time of need, but what returned wasn't just military might. It was a new vision for how different species could work together. "The humans have a saying," Daniel told the assembled representatives. "United we stand, divided we fall." It took a crisis for us to learn this lesson together, but now we will never forget it. Below them, Nexus Station hummed with activity, no longer separated by arbitrary rankings of age or origin, but united in purpose, a sign of the day when humans walked out and the Galactic Council finally recognized what they had lost. "We left to be heard," Daniel said quietly to himself. "We returned to build something better,